Hello and welcome into the latest edition of the Fore-All podcast. I'm Jesse Morrison alongside Max Bechtold. It's been a couple weeks, had a bit of a slow news week last week, so we decided to combine this week's news and last week's news and make it into one podcast. But we won't waste time talking about that. Max, there's been a tournament cancellation or postponement, technically, but they didn't really announce when it would be rescheduled. So the Fur Hills Seri Pac Championship in Palo Verde no longer going to be played on March 20th through the 23rd. And the explanation was an underwriter failed to pay any portion of its payment obligations to the LPGA Tour in 2024 and 2025. Not quite sure what that means, but I'll read the statement real quickly from interim LPGA Commissioner Liz Moore. She said, quote, "We are deeply disappointed to announce this year's Fur Hills Seri Pac Championship will not go forward in March. We apologize for the impact this has on our players as well as on our fans, partners, and volunteers. We also want to express our heartfelt gratitude to the staff and members at Palo Verde Golf Club, Palo Verde States, and tournament operator Outlier, I believe that's how you say it, for their
Outlier, I think it is, yeah. But yes.
Outlier for their exceptional partnership and hospitality. It is our intention to return to Palo Verde in the future to host title sponsor Fur Hills. Once again, alongside these great partners, we remain dedicated to bringing this event back to our schedule to honor the incredible legacy of Seri Pac, who has been a wonderful ambassador for the game in this event." So, Max, that's a kind of confusing statement and kind of unsure whose fault this is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is, of course, the kind of stuff that only happens to the LPGA Tour. It feels like where it's just like, messes just sometimes combine on top of each other. Whose fault this is, we don't know, and we very rarely know with this tour. It's too bad. I think this is one of the most beautiful and scenic tournaments to watch on the tour. It's right on the ocean. They're in the rolling hills right outside of Los Angeles. It's just a gorgeous tournament to watch on TV. I was actually kind of planning on attending this year, and so that's obviously personally a little bit of a whatever thing, but this is a great tournament. It's been in place at this course for the last few years, and I think has really become a staple. Last year was one of the most thrilling events on the schedule. You had a lot of great players, Allison Lee and Ga Shin, who were in the lead late, and then the kind of weather conditions affected them, and they kind of fell back. And Nelly Korda and Ryan O'Toole kind of rose and made it to the playoff, and Nelly Korda got her first, big win, after her win, obviously in Bradenton, but like then there was that 7 week gap, and this was her first big win back. And it was a major part, I think, of her run that we've talked about a lot, her five tournament in a row streak. And so it's kind of too bad that we can't like repeat that great tournament this year. But yeah, it's a beautiful course and great tournament that's given us some awesome results. And so, yeah, we don't really know whose fault this is yet, but I hope they can kind of overcome it and get it scheduled at some point this year because I do think it's a good stop on the tour. And obviously, it's in a location where you can play it pretty much any time of the year. I mean, it doesn't really have bad weather in the winter because it's in LA, but even in the summer, it's pretty mild because it's right on the ocean. So I think anywhere they could slot it into the season, it would work. So I really hope they get this figured out quickly. Obviously, they won't be able to get it back probably in March. That's a little bit too quick, and this seems like a very complicated situation. But hopefully, at some point, they can get it back this season.
Yeah, and the JM Eagle LA Championship still going to be played in the Los Angeles area in April. So if you're an
I want to make
LPGA,
that clear. I don't mean to call out Golf Digest, but they said that the Palos Verdes Championship was the only one that, or they didn't say it was the only one, but they said it was the LA tournament on the LPGA there is another LA tournament. So keep that in mind. Obviously, it's in a different location than usual. The Great Wilshire Country Club, one of the favorites of the players, one of the favorites of mine, is going under renovations right now. So the Jam Eagle will be played elsewhere, but still in the Los Angeles area.
Yes, so there is a tournament there for people who are LPGA fans in the greater Los Angeles area to go and check out some top level women's golf. But yeah, this is unfortunate. Um, you know, especially because there's got to be some people that this was the tournament that there was the only one they could go to. They had plans to go to it. They didn't plan to go to the JM Eagle Championship. They're going to be out of town. I just think of that from a like a planning perspective from being a fan. It's a bummer. And as you said, it's a great course and it was a great tournament last year. So to see it being postponed like this is a bummer and tough to see.
And on top of that, obviously, the people of Los Angeles are going through so many deeper and worse things right now. And we have our, best, wishes and hopes to the people of Los Angeles. But their major PGA tournament just got canceled. And so it's like
Yeah.
it's so in the same week having their major PGA Tour and LPGA tournament, one of their LPGA tournaments taken away. It's like there's usually a lot of great golf played in the Los Angeles area, and that's been just so scaled back this year. So I think there'll be pretty good crowds at the Jam Eagle this year as a result of that. But it is too bad to see because LA is a great golfing community. Last year at the JM Eagle, I saw Will Ferrell out at the course, and like it is a golfing community, and so it's too bad to see it scaled back in this kind of trying time for them. But the JM Eagle can still kind of carry them through.
Yeah, and it's also a bummer because this isn't fire related. Like,
No,
it you would understand if they're
this is
like, oh,
completely out of the way of the fires. Like this should have been
yeah,
an easy tournament to have.
yeah, it would have made sense if they had said, oh, this is fire related, whatever. But now it's not, and it's canceled for some financial reason that nobody asked for or wanted or anything, and so it's just another kind of blow to the city of LA, and they don't need that right now. You're at all right. The International Crown changing up its format a little bit, Max. They're going to add a world team. It's going to be the top 7 countries qualify, and then 4 players from different countries who get to participate on a world team. Um, you've kind of said in our prep for this, it's a way to get Lydia Ko and Brooke Henderson into this tournament. If you could just further elaborate on that, I guess.
Yeah, so the International Crown has always been essentially the LPGA's answer to the President's Cup, where it involves the whole world outside of Europe. But the International Crown still includes Europe, kind of, but like obviously the Solheim Cup is Europe against the United States. This is just kind of the whole world. And the LPGA is adds strength in the whole world. You think of Korea, you think of Japan, you think of Australia, you think of Thailand, some of these countries that just excel at women's golf. In the PGA game, there really isn't that equivalent. But two of the biggest stars over the last 10 years have been Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko, neither of whom has ever taken part in this event. And so I think myself and a lot of people have been asking for a women's President's Cup just straight up. This seems to be their answer to that and trying to preserve the current tournament while still answering a lot of people's questions. So, yeah, one team is being knocked off this year. That will probably be Great Britain, just looking at, or England and how that works out. So, Charlie Hall and Georgia Hall will both be kind of thrown into the world team mix now at this point, which will create an interesting situation because they're divided up by continents. So Europe will get a player, Asia will get a player, Oceania/Africa will get a player, and then the Americas outside of the United States will get a player. So when you look at right now in the world rankings, Celine Boutier is ranked number 9, Charlie Hull's ranked number 10. That's a really fun race right now for that European spots. But yeah, this could be a really fun team when you look at like it could have Brooke Henderson, Lydia Ko, and Charlie Hull, who are arguably three of the five biggest stars on the LPGA tour. Uh, yeah, this is a great change. If they're going to keep going with this international crown format, this was the best way to fix it, was to create just kind of a team that represents the best of the rest. Um, and so, yeah, it should be much improved. And it's really kind of, I think, because of Charlie Hull that this has changed. Last time out, England was like the eighth team, and Charlie Hull and Georgia Hull both dropped out for reasons. Uh, Never got a lot of reasons why they dropped out. But they both dropped out like 3 days in advance, and England had kind of a makeshift weird team, and it wasn't a good look. And so I think they're like, okay, let's just we have seven great countries. We're basically all locked in for this event. Let's just put this eighth team in. They can compete well. It should be one of the best teams. And also, who wouldn't want to see like Nelly Korda and Lilia Vu versus Lydia Ko and Brooke Henderson? Like that just sounds like a golf fan's dream to watch. So this is a great change, and I think this version of the event played in Korea, one of the great women's golf countries. It should be a great spectacle for the game.
And you agree that um, that team could just go ahead and win this, right?
They
Like,
could. I mean, the Asian spot is a little suspect right now. Don't know who exactly it'll be. It'll probably be Pei Yun Chen, from Chinese Taipei, who's a good player, has her moments, especially early rounds. She plays well. She's one of those players that gets high on leaderboards early a lot of times. So we'll see how she plays in this format. But who also knows who could pop up? I mean, the LPGA is one of these sports where rookies come out of nowhere. A lot of the big Asian countries for golf are taken up. They're going to be playing in this. Thailand, China, Japan, Korea, they're all going to be playing in this. So there's a little bit of a limited field to pull from, but we'll see. Lydia Ko, Brooke Henderson, and either Boudier or Charlie Hull really would be a strong team. So we'll see.
all right. Now, I kind of buried the lead, I guess. I mean, canceling a tournament is a pretty big deal. So I feel like that was kind of the lead. But the women's golf is back this week. Like we are fully getting back into golf season. You're going to have uh, PGA going now, LPGA going now. If you really care about simulator golf, whatever that is called, I'm now forgetting it.
On the
Uh,
TGL on the night we're recording is Rory McIlroy versus Tiger Woods. So we'll see.
oh, so great! I will definitely not be watching that. Um, I will be watching NBA basketball over that, which honestly not a great product these days either, but it's better than Golf Simulator. But anyway, the LPGA's first tournament of the year starts on Thursday. The Hilton Grand Vacation Tournament of Champions. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida. Defending champion, we just talked about her a lot, Lydia Ko. The purse is $2 million. Kind of unfortunate, but not unusual that these players aren't playing in this tournament. But you've got no Gino Titakun, no Lilia Vu, and no. I'm sorry. What was the? Sorry. Let
Running,
me hold
running
on.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me redo that. Kind of unfortunate we don't have three of the most notable young players that we've talked about a lot on this podcast with Gino Titakun, Ronin Yin, Lily Vu. They're not going to play. They're three of the players not playing in this, but it should still be a tournament with a lot of good talent. Just what are you looking for out of this tournament?
Well, the main thing I'm looking for is women's golf is back, and I can't wait to watch. Um, it's obviously when you're looking at this, this is a much shorter off season than almost any sports league. It's basically 1 month off, but
Yeah,
it feels like so long, especially because the PGA Tour basically plays throughout the year with no off season. So the LPGA having this about a month and a half break, it feels like a while, and it feels like time to get back started. I think this is an intriguing tournament on one of the best courses on tour. Lake Nona is challenging. It is, I think, the best Florida course on the rotation. That includes Tiburon, which obviously hosts a lot of tournaments, is a very good course, very beautiful property. I was just there about a month and a half ago. But I think Lake Nona is the best product on tour because it is more challenging than other courses, and it allows chances to get players into trouble a little bit more. It really focuses on the short game. I think the short game is really important there. And so I can't wait to watch this. And it's produced really great winners when you look at, back before it was the Tournament of Champions, Nelly Korda won here, Brooke Henderson's won here, Lydia Ko's won here. It's produced some of the best winners on tour. And we have a field of some of the best players on tour this week. Obviously, it's all the winners from the last 2 seasons. And so these are all, seasoned players who know how to win on the LPGA tour. And somebody will be adding to their count this week. And I can't wait to see it. It should be a great week.
and one of the players that is playing in this is the rookie that we have been talking about a lot, Rio Takeda. That's kind of what I am going to be looking for, just to see how good she is. She had an year last year on the JLPGA, um, and yeah, 8 worldwide wins last year total. And so I'm just kind of interested to see how she competes with. Again, you mentioned the best player. These are all a bunch of winners that are playing in this tournament, who have won over the past couple of years. Who are you kind of watching in this tournament? I guess is who I'll say.
Rio Takeda is a great call. She's actually fifth for best odds to win when you look at the odds makers and the bettors, which is really intriguing that they believe in her so much to be so great right away. I do think she'll be great this year. I think she'll win golf tournaments this year, probably more than one, actually. But I don't know if she'll win this week, but I am really intrigued to watch her. Player that I'm really looking for. I wrote it in the newsletter. Go follow the Fore-All newsletter to get this. I am putting my favorite and least favorite odds this week. I'm looking at all the betting sites and kind of coming up with who I think have the best odds and the worst odds put on them. Angel Yin is 30 to 1 this week, kind of toward the bottom. I've been a big believer that Angel Yin will have a really nice breakout year this year. I think she's been trending in that direction for a while, and the injury last year really kind of took the wind out of her sails. She bounced back really well at the end of the year. She should be playing with a lot of confidence and momentum. I think that she has a pretty decent shot to take it this week. She's played well in this course before. Back in 2021, I believe she was in the final group with Nelly Korda at the Game Bridge when this was played at Lake Nona. She had a bad final round, but she played really well throughout the tournament. And so I think Angel Yin has a really, really nice shot to win this week. I like her odds.
All right, I think that we've gotten to the point where we got to make predictions. So I think I'll let you go first because I'm still torn.
Well, I'm taking the really, really boring pick, the most boring pick you can take, which is I do think Nelly Korda will win this week. She's won on this course before, as I alluded to before. She won the Gamebridge in 2021 here. I think she's just in for a great week. She had a great year last year, ended it on a high note, should be playing with momentum, should be nice and rested, ability to get a little bit healthy. Allie Ewing last year at the Tournament of Champions said, you never count out Nelly Corda on a Florida golf course. She knows how to play these courses. She knows the grass well. She knows the greens well. She usually puts at her best on these courses. When you look at how she played last year, obviously throughout the season, it would just feel very fitting that she would win the first event this season. And so, while I do think there's other players like Brooke Henderson, Lydia Ko, who have a good chance, they've won the last two events here. I do think it's Nelly Korda who will take this victory.
All right, I picked her as one of the breakout players this year. So I'm going to start off with just picking her to win the first tournament because not. I think she's just going to have an incredible year this year. I'm going with Rose Zhang to win this one, to get 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 a great start on what I think a 4 or 5 season for her this year.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think Rose Zhang is going to have a very good year this year. And I do think she'll play well this week. I think she's like sixth or seventh in betting odds, which is pretty good. And so I do think she'll have a good year this year, and I think that's a good solid pick.
All right. Well, Max, what should people be looking for on the site that is Fore-All.com, FORE-ALL.com? What should people be looking for going into this tournament and just anything else that is up there right now?
Yeah, so obviously we'll have previews and recaps of all the rounds of the Tournament of Champions this week. We've also still got our International Crown previews going right now. A new fashion article just got posted, so go check that out. There's some great advice for some Valentine's Day gifts for the golfers in your life. And then next week, I will be on site in Bradenton, Florida for the Founders Cup. So we'll have new pictures, we'll have some on-site reporting. So make sure to keep tuned to that.
Nice. I almost went to the Founders Cup when it was in Arizona,
Yep.
and then it was canceled by COVID and moved to a completely different location.
Yes, it was.
So
I had tickets to it.
yeah, very unfortunate that that happened, but it's great that there's a tournament now back in Arizona. But I digress. Make sure to follow all of Max's work this weekend, and we will come back next week and discuss this tournament of champions. Cool.